Hey, it's Monica B, creator of HeyMonicaB.com, a blooming resource on Ayurveda, and author of In Your Elements, a blooming Ayurvedic guide to creating your best life. I'm so excited that we are live because you guys have been amazing, especially most recently. You're asking me all kinds of questions. You're discovering things about your life that don't work, and you're saying, hey, that doesn't work. So that's great because that means that you're starting to recognize where there can be improvements. And when we see things that don't work, it means we have awareness. And when we have awareness, then we have consciousness and we can make different choices. We can learn new things and we can start to improve our lives little by little. So on the Ayurveda I teach is not perfect Ayurveda. It is not textbook Ayurveda. It is Ayurveda for how we can live according to the way we do with the lives that we have today. And so what I strive for is not perfection, but better. Let's do a little bit better with every little thing that we do and start using Ayurveda in our lifestyle, in our daily routine, in our diet to start to tweak things and live a little bit better according to who we are as unique people and according to the great giant nature that surrounds us. Look at the nature. It's right out there. And they're already starting to turn colors and it's only September 1st. So I have two things I would love to chat with you about. And they just came from you guys kind of out of the blue. Somebody asked me a question about balancing two doshas at the same time. That's awesome, and it can sound really confusing, especially if you're just starting to learn Ayurveda, but I hope that I can help you. And the second is something that spurred this live chat in the first place. And it was somebody who signed up for my course. I just launched a 6-week course on Ayurvedic basics. Hi, Tammy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And she sent me an email last night and she had just signed up for the course and she said, Monica, I have given all of myself to my family. I feel overweight. I feel sad because I don't feel like myself. And I'm struggling. And she said, and I am so ready. And she said, like you said, we pay attention to how we feel in our own bodies because that gives us not only permission to take care of ourselves the way we think we need to take care of ourselves, not the way we read about other things, but also it gives us empowerment to say, hey, wait a minute, if I know something's off, then that's great because I know that I need to make changes. So we're going to talk about those two things, two doshas, what to do when you are two doshas, and this struggle of giving to everybody else before we take time. How do we make time to take care of ourselves? So we're going to talk about those two things. So let's go ahead and start with that. I know that I can certainly relate to both of them because I'm two doshas and I also give a lot to everybody else, including job and family, and I want to do my Ayurvedic business, but I also need to take care of myself. So let's talk about both of those things. So first is, what do I do if I'm two doshas? Okay, so normally people think about being two doshas at the same time as opposites. Right? I'd like you to change your thinking and your perspective around that and think of them as complements. Okay? Because yeah, they're opposite, like hot, cold. If you're Vata Pitta, you have cold, hot, but maybe that makes your room temperature, right? So start to think about them as something very well-rounded instead of opposites. And because this was spontaneous, because this is live, I actually made a chart about maybe how we can talk about this simply, even though my chart does not look simple at all, and I really just drew it like 10 minutes ago because I had a break, I had to stop work and then jump on here. Okay, so ready? Here we go. Oh my God, is it backwards? Wait, somebody chat me and tell me if it's backwards. Is it backwards? Because that's going to be ridiculous. Is it backwards or can you actually read it? It looks backwards to me. Stacy, is it backwards? Tammy, is this backwards or can you read it? I didn't even think about that. It's backwards. Heather, really? It's backwards? Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, I guess I'll just use this as my own guide. Okay, so Vata, Pitta, okay? The two go together. What they have in common, this is great, it's backwards. What they have in common, we're going to go to the qualities now, okay? So the qualities that Vata and Pitta have in common is that they're both light and mobile. Okay, so since like increases like, we're always going to be balancing the light and mobile qualities for a Vata Pitta person, which means a Vata Pitta person, or Pitta Vata, doesn't matter. If you see my backwards little arrow, either way goes, okay? They're always going to want to stay grounded, because light and mobile means that they're going to want to move a lot and they're going to want to go a lot of places. So bring that energy down and ground. So Vata Pitta people will always be working on grounding. Okay, cool. The opposite qualities that these guys have, Vata Pitta, Pitta Vata, is cold versus hot. Okay, and rough versus smooth. So Vatas are cold and rough. Pittas are hot and smooth. Okay, so the best thing that you can do for that is, you guys, the seasons, right? So in some seasons, like what we're coming up to now, Vata season, it's happening. Those leaves are changing. They're getting crunchy. They're getting rumply. They're losing their flexibility and their green. It's turning into Vata season. So this person would manage Vata more closely. If they're a Kapha person, do they need to worry about the meld between Vata and Pitta? No, because they're going to be balanced. They're going to feel good in their opposite season. Okay, so for Vata season, for Vata Pitta Vata, they're going to manage their Vata a little closer and bring that energy down and slow it up. Okay, and start drinking those nourishing foods, grounding foods. Okay, and same thing so for the rough and smooth. The foods are not going to be like crunchy, raw, rough sort of foods. They're going to turn into smooth foods like comfort foods, rices, root vegetables, etc. Okay, so rule of thumb for Vata Pitta Vata, is they need grounding and follow the seasons. I'm going to say this for every single one of them. It's going to be recommended that you just follow the seasonal recommendation. Okay, because like increases like. Whatever's the same is going to increase to a space that's not comfortable, that's not balanced. So we're going to use the opposite qualities to balance, okay? Okay, here's my little backwards chart. Okay, Pitta Kapha. I can take a picture of this and put it like below the live thing when this is all done. Okay, Pitta Kapha, commonalities between the two are smooth, oily. Okay, so Pitta is slightly oily, Kapha is oily. So both of them are going to need dryness and roughness. All right, and then that means like in the air, in the food doesn't need to be super oily or very heavy and grounded, because, you got it, Heather, I'll take a picture and post it up, or heavy and grounded because they have those qualities in them. They don't need it coming from the outside because they already have it from the inside. So too much of the grounded heavy qualities for a Pitta Kapha Pitta person will be too much. It will make them feel too heavy. Okay, so the opposite qualities that Pitta and Kapha have are hot versus cold. Pitta's hot, Kapha's cold. Okay, Pitta is light, Kapha is heavy. Pitta is mobile, Kapha is static. So again, don't think of them as like opposites. Oh my God, what do I do? Which one do I balance? You might not need to worry about it because they're balancing each other. They're complements, okay? But if you're feeling off in one direction of the other, it's a good sign that you need to balance. For example, if you're feeling very cold and damp, bring in the fire, because that's a sign that your Kapha is heavier, wetter, and stickier, okay? If you're feeling hot and blotchy, you're gonna need to cool down, and it's probably summer. So again, follow the seasons and notice how you're feeling. So what I didn't say yet about this is the doshas live inside of us in different places. Like, just because I'm a Vata Pitta person, or Pitta Vata, whatever you want to say, it doesn't mean that where the doshas live in me is the same place as they do in other people, right? Like, I might have very Vata eyes, and somebody else who's a Vata Pitta might have very Pitta eyes. So they're going to show up in different places. Same thing with emotions, same for physicality, physical body, all those things. Don't overthink all that stuff. You're going to go by the seasons, and you're going to go by the recommendations that I just gave you. Vata Pittas will always need grounding. Pitta Kaphas are always going to need rough and dry. Okay? Okay, cool. All right, and so now we're going to do Kapha Vata with my backwards chart. Kapha Vata, backwards. They're both cold. So forever, Vata kaphas are going to need to be warm. They need to warm it up, spice it up, and stay nice and cozy, because the Vata cold is this like really crispy cold, and the Kapha cold is like a dampness. I've always said that living in San Francisco when it's 50 degrees and the clouds are hanging and the breeze is coming from the ocean, the dampness like goes right through your bones, colder than it was in Milwaukee in the middle of winter when it's 5 degrees and it's like, crispy cold. So there's different colds. Okay. Anyways, blah, blah. Commonality is cold. Opposites is Kapha is heavy, Vata is light. Kapha is static, Vata is mobile. Kapha is smooth, Vata is rough. Okay, so we're going to pay attention again to the season. So it's going to be Vata season, which comes first in fall, early winter. And then it's going to be Kapha season, which starts in later winter and spring. Okay, so does that help? Who has questions? Shoot me with questions on here about these two doshas, if you're both. And I would not worry about which dosha comes first. If you go to my website, heymonicab.com, go up top where it says, what is Ayurveda? You'll find a dosha test in there. You can take the dosha test if you have not already and see what your balance is. And so between the two, if your numbers are close, that means that your probably two doshas are working together at the same time. Again, don't be so confused that you tell yourself, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with it because they're opposites. You're going to have awareness about the season. You're going to have awareness about what's happening to your body. And you're also going to have confidence that they're complements. They're working together to keep you balanced. We all have all three doshas in us. We just have them in different balances. And they show up in kind of different places for some of us too. Okay? Does that help? Tammy Haynes got a lot to learn. Cool. Yeah, go to my site, heymonicab.com. What is Ayurveda? Up at the top, and you'll see a little drop down. You go ahead and take that dosha test, and then I want to know what you are. Okay, cool. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was this awesome email that I got last night. Yay! I said a little floating thumb. That's awesome. So a gal that signed up for my class sent me an email, and she said, I'm not feeling like myself because I give all of myself outward and I don't have time to give back to myself. And in Ayurveda, we say all healing comes from the inside out. If we're not good enough for ourselves, if we're not doing good for ourselves, and we're kind of fumbling through, we don't have energy or positivity, or we don't feel physically good, what good are we going to be for other people? But once we start working on ourselves and we start feeling more radiant and more energetic, and we're feeling confident about the foods that we're choosing, and we're feeling good about moving our bodies, and we're feeling good that we had 10 minutes to sit down and do a short meditation, that starts to change. And people from the outside respond to that, right? So people from the outside are like, wow, they're so like happy and positive and blah, blah, blah. Well, they're still doing all the same things, but they've made time and they have made it priority to find time within the day to take care of ourselves too. And it should not be a guilt thing. And that's why I say all healing comes from the inside out, because it shouldn't be that we give to other people first and leave ourselves to very last. Yeah, that's great. And even in Ayurvedic eating, it is said you should serve somebody else before you serve yourself, but not if you're falling apart. Right? So if we're in a state where we're feeling like we're falling apart, we got to check ourselves. I know, Katie, finding time is hard. Katie's got twins. Katie's got twins. I love them. Say hi for them. Give them kisses for me. So yes, finding time is hard. We have day jobs, we have families, we have pets, we have partners, we've got friends, we've got all kinds of people we want to take care of. And the thing is that we've got to take care of ourselves first. And I know timing is hard. Trust me. I lived in San Francisco. I lived a 2.5-hour daily commute. I worked in the city 5 days a week. 2.5 hours, sometimes 3. I was trying to build an Ayurvedic business, do my day job, write a book, take care of my toddler, and I had 2 dogs and a cat. That's a lot. But I did meditation on the bus. And sometimes I would get up early in the morning before the dog walk and I would do 10 minutes of push-ups and sit-ups. And then I would take the dog for a walk. There was a walk. Meditation on the bus. Okay, we're starting to get this now. I had aromatherapies at my desk that I would like take a break, get a glass of water, drink that down. So what I said to this person, her name's Deanna. She's awesome. I've known her for a long time. I said to her, you know what? Take a challenge from me today. And I was like, I'm going to go live on your behalf because I care about you and I want to answer this question. And you're not the only person with the struggle, right? I think that's one of the lessons is we're not the only people with the struggle. So hit me with your struggles. Let's talk about them. Let's fix them and make them better so we can grow together as a community and start to help each other. But anyways, I said, take this as a challenge. I'm like, find 20 minutes to put on your sneakers and go for a good walk today. Can you do that? Before that, I said, join me live. I'm going to talk about this. And she said, I can't. My daughter has a softball game. And she said, okay, the struggle is real. Totally is. The struggle. And she said, I have a softball game. And I was like, can you check your phone on your softball game? Like, be one of those moms. And she's like, no, I'm the dugout mom. I can't check my phone. Or then I was like, yeah, you can't be that dugout mom that sits on her phone and watches a doodly-doo live, blah, blah. Be with your kid. Be present with your kids. And so I said, but my challenge is find 20 minutes today to put on your sneakers and take a walk. And she sent me an email 15 minutes before I went live. And she's like, I am on my 20-minute walk right now before my daughter's softball game. Big cheers for Deanna for doing that for yourself. So we can all do that. We need to find the space and make it a priority. My suggestion is, you may or may not like it, is turn off the computer. I mean, you just gotta do it. I think a lot of us spend a lot more time on the screens looking for what we think we need on here, when really what we need is in here. We need our sneakers. We're gonna put on those sneakers for 20 minutes. Ask the husband or the partner or your friends or whatever to take care of a child or a pet or whatever you need to do. Put on the sneakers and go outside for a 20-minute walk. Turn off the screen 1 hour before bed. You can do that. There is nothing that is that important that you need to be hanging out on the computer screen until 10, 10:30, 11, because that happens on Pinterest. And things are just going on the page and you could scroll for a long time and you're like, woo, look at all the pretty things. But the thing is, you're not taking care of yourself in that time. In that time, there could have been a meditation. There could have been some sit-ups. There could have been some push-ups. There could have been some squats. There could have been reading a book, a spiritual book that you just can't wait to dive into. There could be a journal that you write in. There could be a little piece of art that you just doodle on a page. Yeah, that's the life stuff. So in finding time and finding the struggle, we need to be, if we are not okay, nice, Heather's up late researching Ayurveda. That's great, but go to bed by 10. Mwah. So, we being completely present in what we're doing makes time feel and last longer than it does when we're like, I have to do 20 million things before 3 o'clock. You can't do 20 million things. Pick and choose the most important priorities for you. For Deanna, I guarantee what was in her head today was she was like, I got to do something for myself. 20-minute walk. She locked in on the 20-minute walk and she locked in on that softball game in addition to her day job and everything else that she did. And she picked 2 things that were hugely important, one for herself and one for her family. So time doesn't get any longer. We don't get more time. But I bet if you take a look at where you're spending your time, you can uncover more time just by doing little things, a 10-minute sit, 10 minutes, sit with your eyes closed, take some deep breaths and just sit there. And I know it sounds like we're such an action-oriented society, right? If we're not doing something, it feels like we're doing nothing. But when we do nothing and we settle, we have clarity, we have peace, we have happiness, and we can focus and we can be fully present on being with our children when we get home. During the commute back and forth, I would kind of flip a switch. and I would flip that switch down and I'd be like, okay, I'm not in work mode anymore. And I'm not jumping on the computer when I get home to check emails because it doesn't matter. My daughter matters and my husband matters and my dogs matter. And that's what I'm going to spend my time doing now. And it wasn't too often where I had to do extra work before bed. I'm very fortunate though. I know that some people do have demanding jobs and you can't get it all done. But there has to be something where we take a break. I also have a time-saving tip for you. Do you know how I wrote a book and did all of those things with the day job and the commute, all the stuff? My husband got me an hourglass. Oh, I should have had it as a visual aid. It's better than a backwards chart, wouldn't you say? Backwards chart. So I had this hourglass and it's 30 minutes long. And I would sit at the desk and it was late. I abused pita time and I stayed up past 10 o'clock intentionally because I knew that I'd be able to fly through a couple hours of working. And yes, I did it to get the book done. But I just did it. And then I'd fall on my face after like 2 days of doing that at 7:30, and you just fall asleep. Okay, anyways, back to the hourglass. I'd take that and I would go for 30 minutes. And I would sit down and I'd have my water or my tea and I'd put on my music and have my butt in my chair. And I'd go check. Do I have my water? Check. Did I go potty? Check. Do I have my slippers on? Check. Do I have a blanket? Am I warm enough? Yes, check. Do I have all, and I would check the music and everything. I'd say, yes, check. Flip that thing over. So I'd flip the thing over and my butt was not allowed to move the seat until that sand was gone. You could do this with anything. You could do this with a journal. You could do this with your drawings. You could do this with walking. You could do this with marching in place. You could do this with squats while you're talking to your husband. You're like, not for half an hour. That's insane. You'd have really sore legs. But I'm just saying, set a little timer and do something. While you're doing that, make a blocker for yourself. And so I would do that. And then when the 30 minutes ran out, I would try and go for 90 minutes, by the way. 90 minutes of straight working through. And so then when 30 minutes was up, I would look. And if the sand was gone, I would do a quick, 2-second mental check. Do I have everything I need to do? Quick, turn it over. And I couldn't move my butt until the sand was gone. And I would try and do that 3 times. If I really had to go to the bathroom or something, then I would do it. But I'm telling you, there was not one time where I was looking and waiting the sand's still going. I was present in my work and I was putting my love and heart into it. Point of bringing that up is you deserve a break. Because after every 90 minutes, I would take a break. I would get new tea, I would stretch, I would do a couple down dogs, I would do something, I would do some squats, I would do some breathing exercises, and I would refresh before I got back in and before I started working again for another, what I was shooting for was 90 minutes, okay? So breaks. I think we feel like we don't have enough time because we actually don't take enough breaks. There was another gal that I saw who's a friend of mine who had a funny little quote on her Facebook thing. She's like, I got so much to do. I don't even know where to start. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Facebook and distract myself and I'm going to look at all this stuff. We can do that when we're feeling overwhelmed. We're like, I don't even want to see it. I'm just going to go over here and go to Pinterest or go to Facebook or something. No, do the work, set a timer and set a reward for yourself at the end of the timer, right? Work, reward, good. Work, reward, you're not going to feel as overwhelmed. There's a really good book called The Way We're Working Isn't Working, and The Power of Full Engagement. And they're both written by Tony Schwartz. And when I was doing the whole commute and the full-time day job and all the stuff, when I was doing all that, I read those books and they made a whole lot of sense. It talks about these things, working in increments and taking breaks, working in increments, taking breaks. Who's got questions? I just keep talking. Who's got questions? Anybody have questions about the 2 doshas? Or does anybody have questions about the struggle of I give all of myself to my family and I don't have any time for myself? And does anybody have questions and say, Monica B, I heard what you said, but it still doesn't make any sense. And how am I supposed to fit this stuff in? Anybody have questions? You can go ahead and ask away. And if not, I gotta go pick up my daughter from school, the little munchkin. So cute. Katie, give those girls a little squeeze for me. Heather, I'm glad to see you on here. It's very fun. All right. Any questions at all? Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions, I hope that this gave you some clarity on the 2 doshas and about giving all of your, that is the question, how to fit it in. Yeah. Wall to wall. There is going to need to be a part of it is just being a new mom. Hi, Cindy. Part of it's just being a new mom, and it's going to be wall to wall for a little while, but you have to find a reprieve, right? Can Darren take some that give you 10 minutes reprieve? Because I know Katie's also a workhorse, right? So Katie will do anything to hold everybody else together. You're gonna have to ask for a little bit of help. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Can you find time? I know waking up earlier is probably not an option, right? But from the sliver of when they go to bed, is there a sliver of time that you can do something? Look and see where you're spending your time. Are you spending it TV? Are you spending it computer? Are you spending it more work? Is there anything you could take for those to give to yourself? You are a total pit to work with. I know you are. And so where can you take it from? Because you're not going to take it from your family. You can't take it from your job, but you can take breaks at your job, right? You can. So can you fit it in there? Can you fit in a little walk with your buddies at work? Would they like to join you? I'm telling you, we can't work for a full day straight and be productive. We can't. We get scattered. We'll talk around at the water cooler. We're going to go bug people at their desks. Try and find a place, a sliver. What can you take? What is low on the totem pole that you can take that time and turn it onto yourself? Yeah, sneakers, just a pair of sneakers, and sit down and just breathe. If that's all you do and that's your time for the day, well done, right? Because it's not easy. So try that, spending that extra time with more work. Yeah, so there's got to be a balance there. Pittas are terrible, and so are Kaphas. They're terrible at asking for help. But there's only so much one person can do. And I got to that point with myself, and I finally did talk to my boss, and I was like, I can't. And I was petrified. I was scared, but I did it, and she helped me. So I hope that helps. We don't get a longer day, but we can use the day differently. Katie, you're smart, and so is everybody else out there. You're all smart. We can figure out what is a low priority, take a little bit of that time and use it for higher quality priority, okay? If you want help, I can make a chart or something and it won't be backwards, I promise. Heather's got a question. Do you have some tips for getting family to eat more Ayurvedic foods, or do you find you eat something a little different? I don't eat anything different from the family. I make the same food. We make a meal and it has a lot of variety in it. So for myself, like my kid will eat mac and cheese and burritos every day. She just will. And I give her vegetables and she likes applesauce and she likes all the stuff. She knows not to combine fruit and dairy. So that's great. So I tell her that we don't mix, we don't put strawberries in the cereal, or we don't put strawberries in the oatmeal with a little bit of milk on it. We don't do that, but you could have some almonds with that. So she knows that part, but we build our plates differently. And like my husband's kapha, so he doesn't usually eat lunch. I wish he'd eat lunch and skip dinner, but whatever. We do the best we can. So he usually just has a little dinner and doesn't really eat lunch. So we all do our own thing, but I'll make one meal. And it's not Ayurvedic foods, it's just food. It's just food. It's like we will make, especially like a taco night or something. I'll have like the veggie tacos and I'll build my taco how I want to. Those two will have chicken or whatever they're going to do. And it's great. Cool. Yeah, Heather, sign up for the class. I would love to have you in class. Oh, yeah. And I did just launch a 6-part class, which is self-paced. It never expires. It's all online. And I will also answer any question you have in the forum below, and we'll do some live Q&As so you can ask me. And the class is based on the book, In Your Elements, and it will help you walk through and create your own Ayurvedic plan. So I'll walk through the basics of understanding Ayurveda and actually using it for how we live today and squeezing it in. Katie, I want to know what you're going to try. I'm excited. Pick one thing that you're going to put in, a little sliver, one thing that takes 10 to 20 minutes a day. Can you find it? You can find it. Find it. That's like I'm talking to my dog. I have a border collie mix, and so she plays find it games. I go, find it. So Katie, find it. Find the time. And going back to Ayurvedic foods, you just make a variety of different things and everybody picks their different likes. And, sometimes I make stuff that my daughter's not really crazy about and she has a little bit, and that's fine because I'm not making like separate foods. Like she got to get used to it. She got to get used to what I'm making. So who else has questions? Really? Katie says, your Monica book is making the rounds of friends. Yay! And we'll think about what I can try. You do that. You keep making that book go around, share it with as many people as you can. That's what it's there for, so we can all learn, we can all start to live better simply and easily using Ayurveda. And you think about what you can try, and then I want you to email me and tell me what you're going to do. So let's all follow Deanna's example. She went for a 20-minute walk today, squeezed it in before her daughter's softball game. And I bet she's going to feel awesome. Okay? All right, I got to go get my daughter at school now. Thank you! Oh, you rock! You just keep doing your thing. Every day, we are not shooting for perfection. We are shooting for everyday little improvements that help us live our life better. A little better, a little better, a little better, and a lot of little betters make a whole bunch of great big betters, right? We're going to have a whole big, great big better life. All right, you guys, keep going. I look forward to seeing you soon. We should do more live things. Hit me with your questions and struggles. Hit me, hit me, hit me. I'm here to help. All right. Mwah. Hi, Britta. I love you. Bye.